What's going on, everybody? In this video we're going to be hydro dipping some American flag graphics onto this one wheel fender. But first, make sure to hit that like and subscribe so you can come back and see what I get into next. I try to post hydro dip videos up just like this one a couple times a week. Without further ado, let's get into this one. So I've already got my fender primed and painted, and it's dry and it's ready to be dipped. I've just got to get my film cut out to size, so that's what we're going to do. I've got this roll here that I'm working with. It's a good size roll. It's a good quality film from a company in South Florida. Now, this is a battle-worn flag graphic, so it is not a perfect flag. When you see it dipped, it is going to have some imperfections in it, and that's because it's supposed to be battle-worn. So what I'm going to do here is I've got me a nice size piece of film selected to work with. I'm going to get it cut away from the roll. I'm going to tape all around the film, and that's going to create a nice border for me. And that way, when I lay it down into my dip tank and I hit it with the activator, it doesn't spread out too far on me. That is one issue I've been having with this film, is I'll activate it and then the graphics just start to spread way too far on me, and I just haven't got a great quality dip out of it yet. So today I'm going to tape off the borders all the way around, and then I'll get it over to the tank, and hopefully it'll be a much more successful dip that way. No lie either, this film, like I said, loves to play with my emotions. It's not just been this one wheel fender. I've done other parts with this film that it's just constantly giving me a problem. It just doesn't like to cooperate nicely with me. This is just like carbon fiber. If you mess up just a little bit, your graphics are messed up. Some films, you have room for error and they don't look so shabby when you have error and it's hard to see. Other films, like this particular one and carbon fiber, you mess up just a little bit and you can definitely tell that you've made an error. Now you can see I've got a nice size piece of film cut out here. It's way bigger than the item I'm dipping, and that's exactly what I want. I want it to be that big. That way when I transfer this piece of film over onto the dip tank, I have room for error. And what I mean by that is, say I lay it onto the water and I get water on top of the film in a section, or I get an air pocket under the film that I can't get rid of, or there's some debris under the film, or just any type of imperfection somewhere on this piece of film. Once I lay it on the water that I can't get rid of, it'd be a waste if I just have to throw this film away. So if you just get a piece that's slightly bigger than your item, maybe twice the size, and you put it on the water and you'll activate it, and there's some imperfection in it, you'll have room to move your item around and other places to dip, and you'll be able to work around that error. Where if you have a piece that's just the exact size you need and you lay it onto the water and you activate it and it has a foul in it, you're screwed. You're going to throw that piece in the trash and you've wasted that whole piece altogether. So just go ahead, aim a little bigger, and that way you have room to work with. Now you can see I've got my tape pretty much all the way around this graphic here. I'm going to get these clips that I have here. They're basically just two metal pieces with a 90 on them connected to a brake clip bag, and that basically just helps me grab my film, especially the bigger pieces, and it helps me pick them up, and that way I can transfer them over onto the dip tank a lot easier than me just trying to fumble them with my hands. So now that I got the film cut out, clipped in, I take it over to the dip tank and I set it onto the water, and I'm going to let that film set and do its thing on the water for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. My water temperature is roughly around 90 degrees today. So now that I've got the film down onto the water, I can move it around. I can try to blow out any air bubbles I might have got in it, which of course, even though I took my time and I was super careful, I got some air bubbles under my film. And you know what else? I got some water on top of the film, which is always a big no-no. If you listen to my videos, I'm always like, you want to get all the water under the film and not on top of the film. And what did I do? I got water on top of the film. So we're going to have to fix that as we go. But once again, the air bubbles, the water on the film, those are just reasons that you want to have a bigger piece of film than you think you would need, so you can allow for those errors to happen. And that way your film's on the water, you have an error, and I don't just have to discard that whole piece of film. I'm going to block all this film in as well. I've got two end pieces here that hold my film in pretty tight. That way, once I hit it with the activator, it doesn't spread too far lengthwise. However, top and bottom, I can't really bring my pieces of my tank in, so I always have to throw in like more tape. And that tape is basically just acting as more of my border, because you're going to see once I activate the film, the graphics can kind of just run wherever they want. So if they're not kind of held in tightly, they'll go all over the place, and you're going to end up with a stretchy dip. Your film's going to look fat. It just depends on the graphics of how bad your dip can actually turn out. Some graphics don't look so bad, some look absolutely ridiculous, and this one right here is one that looks ridiculous when the film starts to stretch out. Your stars get all fat, your stripes go everywhere, and it's just absolutely crazy. So what I'm doing again is I'm just making sure I got all my borders taped off really well. I also am taking care of some of the situations that I caused when I put my film in the water, like the water on top of the film right here. I'm just going to throw a little piece of tape right over where the water has kind of run on top of the film, and you can't see it very well, but I can. But it's literally like that little section away. So I come in with my activator, I activate my film, and now I can go ahead and dip my item through this film. I'm basically just have paint floating on top of the water. You can see that it's mirrored over. You can't really even see anything floating on top of the water. It's really glossy. For me, it's kind of just like a reflection, and I know it's ready to go. I'm going to dip this item through at a 30 to 40 degree angle, nice and easy, trying to avoid any disruption in the film so my graphics bond nicely all over my item. Pushing it through, and I'm kind of rolling it forward as I go. I started in the stars, and I'm going to end in the stripes. A little slow motion action here for you as we come out of the water, and everything has bonded quite nicely. Now, before, when I've dipped this piece, I've actually taped off those inner sides there. I did not do that this time because I wanted to see if this film would bond better without the tape on the sides, and it actually did. It bonded really well. I'm very happy with the way it came out. This is what we're looking like after I've taken it out of the rinse station, because once you've dipped an item, it gets pretty gooey, so you have to rinse them off anywhere from like 5 to 20 minutes. Now, this film bonded really great. Again, it's a battle-worn flag print, so it doesn't look like the perfect flag print. I did have a small imperfection right there in them stars, but all in all, really well. It would not be something that I would redo for this piece here, especially since, again, this is like my 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 17th time that I've done this. Battle-worn flag graphics from TWN Industries out of South Florida. It comes in a big long roll. This is what it looks like when it's on an item. This is another item that I did. It's gray on the bottom, white on the top. You can see that the stars are imperfected, the stripes are imperfected, and that's the way it's supposed to look. Battle-worn American flag graphics. Now, the last step I need to do is just throw some clear coat on this thing. I'll probably do about 3 coats of clear. So we'll start off with 1 coat, nice and easy, 10 to 12 inches away, a light coat, get it all around. I'm gonna let that dry for about 20 minutes, and I'll come back through and I'll put another coat. And at the end of the day, this is what we're looking like. Came out really well. Appreciate you watching. This was a very fun fender to do, even though it took me quite a few times. But when that happens, I chalk it up to a learning experience. And now I can say that I'm not too shabby at doing the one-wheel fenders. Make sure you drop a comment, come back and check me out.